what have you appreciated about the way in which your husband Clement works out, his headship and his love and care for the family? What does it look like from your perspective that you appreciate the way he does it?
So I think our family is maybe not as traditional with some of the roles, and I don't even like using the word role in our family because I don't think that really exists, to be honest. I work full-time and I work quite an onerous job. So I'm a high school teacher, but I lead a faculty, and I primarily take on, say, HSC English, which, there are days where we're in the middle of HSC trial marking at the moment, and I'll work 14-hour days. And Clement is also a teacher, and he works part-time. And in our family, I think the one thing I've really appreciated is over the last 10 years, Clement's only ever approached me and our marriage as his wife first and foremost, and then the mother to his children next. So Clement really, how does he put it? He goes, I'm not someone who hides who I am. What you see is what you get. And so there was no pretense. It wasn't like I deceived him going, oh no, she's very meek and mild. Oh, no. Wow, it's shock horror. So I think from the very beginning, Clement's always loved me as I am and has truly encouraged me to pursue these things that he sees that I thrive in. Yeah. I love being at school. I love being around people, and he's made sacrifices for me to actually pursue that.
And this is part of the reason why I wanted Sarah to come up. We could have gotten lots of other women to come up here, but I want you to know that working this out biblically doesn't mean that there's one model of traditional wife.
Yeah.
That in their marriage. Do you see how Sarah said, I appreciate how Clement's put me first?
Yes. Yeah.
That's actually how it's supposed to work out. That he's actually said, I want, Sarah, you to thrive, and I want you to step into all that God has made you, uniquely you. And that's actually what his role should be, to do that. That's actually good headship, isn't it? Even though it means you're working the full-time job currently and he's working the part-time job.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
It might reverse soon.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know.
First he's heard of that, yeah.
But I think it's also not just in work life. Actually, working that out, work life was easy because, my earning capacity is a bit better just because I've had more experience and the type of roles I can gain. Working that out was actually almost it wasn't a negotiation. It was just Clem knew that was what was good for me and our family. But I really actually appreciate it in terms of church service. So, being involved in church ministry and being a mum to young children, it was really easy for me to withdraw and just say, actually, it's in the too hard basket. But say, for instance, we had an 8 a.m. meeting today.
Yes.
And our children are probably most chaotic when they wake up and when they're meant to be going to sleep. But when I spoke to Clement, there's an opportunity for me to serve at church, it was, that's going to be really wonderful. I know that you're going to be able to use your gifts really well. And so Clement manages the family and all that occurs in that time. I don't think about it. I wake up in the morning, I get myself ready, and I leave. And rain, hail, or shine, I'm not going to hear about it because I think Clement wants me to have the mental and emotional space to actually serve with my whole heart and be present wherever I am.
And we're really appreciative of that because 8 a.m. meetings are hard for anyone, but particularly for mums. And so again, I think I'm just so encouraged because Clement is showing great leadership by doing that. So do you see how this is working out? It's probably not what you thought it was. But this is actually one of the ways in which the biblical picture works out. Now, so the question for you is, I'm sure Clem doesn't do everything perfectly. He might forget your anniversary, which he won't now because it's on record for everyone to remind them. But even if he doesn't, even though he and other husbands don't do it perfectly, I can already sense that, this is something you want to willingly support for him to be able to do that because he's putting your interests first.
Yeah.
How else does it look? So in your role, and now we talked about his role,
yeah.
How does it work in your role? What do you see your job is, your particular way in which you can help this family and make it in a biblical way? Yeah.
I have to laugh at Clement's jokes. And I know I'm saying it as an offhand offhand comment, but I genuinely mean it. Clement really, he's a funny person, but I don't laugh at his jokes because I think it humbles him that his wife doesn't laugh at his jokes. And so for about 9 years, I just wouldn't laugh. He would say something really funny and wait for a reaction. I just won't laugh because I'm like, no, you don't get that one over me too. But I actually think, I know it's really like, it's a very specific example, but I was thinking about it because I trust wholeheartedly that my husband loves me.
Yeah.
And whatever decisions he makes and whatever comments he makes, he's never come into this. And I could say for all of the hurt and all of our arguments and everything like that, I truly, my whole heart believe that my husband has never intended to come into something without my best interest at heart. And perhaps the delivery wasn't wonderful, the tone or the use of words, but you know, and so I was like, I don't need to humble my husband. I don't need to teach him a lesson. I actually need to trust that he loves me and that perfection isn't right now. And the one thing that Clement and I have really talked about as our family is our eternal vision. What are we passing on to our children? When they look at us, what do they think a good and happy, healthy marriage is? And it's not that it's about tomorrow or next week, but we're actually really eternally driven. Like if I know that my husband loves me, then today might not be perfect and tomorrow might be perfect, but I know eternity will be perfect. So I can hold onto that and I can give perspective to the things that happen.
Wow.
In our family. Yeah.
So did you catch what Sarah was saying? You get this, really get the sense of trust. And that means so much, doesn't it? Like that you trust that he has your best interest in mind, even if he doesn't execute it perfectly all the time.
Yeah.
And can I just say, as a husband, and probably on behalf of all the husbands here, like that means so much to us because we don't always do it well. In fact, sometimes we do it badly. But to know that our wives at the end know that we want to love them and care for them and that you trust us. That is, I think, one of the best ways in which that supportive role happens. And it actually empowers and lifts us to do better, doesn't it? Like as a man, if I get nagged, then I feel untrusted. I feel like you don't really believe I can do it. And it actually deflates me. It makes me want to do well less. But when Karen actually shows the ability to push through fear, because sometimes, trust is a hard act of faith, but she still says, I do trust you. I do appreciate you. That makes me want to do better. It actually has a better effect. And I can see that dynamic working out. And what I really appreciate is that real sense of partnership. You guys are together working out for your 3 youngest children, what kind of family, what kind of legacy you want to leave. So thank you. Any final words? We've got a bit of time. Any final words of advice or tips you can leave us with?
I think something I learned over 10 years, we talk about mental load a lot. So just the fact that I think as women, we carry a lot in our heads. In any one moment, I can tell you 15 things that needs to get done. And Clement has stopped, or he's getting better at not asking for lists because it still means that I generate the lists to give to him. But then I'll just say to Clement, sort out the food this week. And my husband, I know because he loves us and he puts us first, will take care of that and handle that. And I actually need to step back and trust. Did he buy the wrong meat? Yes. Was it on sale? No.
Is it KFC every night? Whatever.
But at the same time, I'm also like, well, maybe he made that decision for takeaway that night because he's seen that I've been working really hard and that I actually just want to get through dinner quickly and it's not meant to be this degustation and an ordeal this week because he actually loves me enough to go, I see that this is something that we need this week, even if you didn't think that's the way that we're going to get there. So I think that trust is really important. To step back and let it happen is really, really hard, but really important for women just to sometimes just observe it occur.
Yeah.
And then I have a laugh. I think that's what we've learned a lot, that sometimes it's not that deep and we can have a laugh about things. So, whether Clement knows, where that item of clothing is meant to be stored in the house or not, or whether he's dressed the kids correctly or not, I can sit back and have a laugh about it. It's not a diagnosis of his love for me. it was just his diagnosis of his ability to do
Yeah.
that particular skill.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that you still trust him and you let him do it and you let him make mistakes. And it's like a lot of these things, it really isn't that big of a deal. But how many of us in our marriages where these things become a big deal unnecessarily, right? But I just love that dynamic working out, and I know that hearing that as a man, that Karen does that as well, or all the incompetent pieces of meat that I might buy, it really helps because I know that she still values and trusts me, and that's wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Can we give her a round of applause? And